is my vow.
Lord, sing the harvest.
Every time you bless,
every time you bless,
you can trust me.
You can trust
to
me
bless somebody else.
Trust me to bless somebody
Pastor
else.
Smokey Norfolk, my man.
Lord, send the harvest.
Sing the harvest.
And every time you bless,
The beautiful
you
Erica
can trust
Campbell.
me. You can trust me,
Trust me.
to bless somebody else.
Sing, Erica.
Lord, sing the harvest. And every time you bless,
Every time you bless,
can trust me.
trust me, Lord.
Trust me, Lord.
Trust me, Lord.
I got one more witness, my brother Roosevelt Griffin.
Lord,
Sing the harvest. Every time you bless, trust me, Lord.
trust me, Lord. Bless somebody else.
Send your harvest.
One of the most giving people I know.
Every time you bless.
Pastor John P. King.
Every time you rain on me, I'm ready to sow.
I'm ready to sow.
Every time you bless me,
That's my niece,
you
Jacqueline
can
Carr.
trust me. Now reach on my hand. I'll bless
Tell your
somebody else.
testimony, Bishop Morton.
Because I'm blessed.
Help me,
Say it, Bishop.
I'm looking for somebody. I gotta bless somebody else because I'm blessed.
That's my
Help
new
me
friend,
to
Miss
bless
Kiki Wyatt.
somebody else.
Come on, Kiki. Use that special gift to bless the world.
Send your harvest.
Find a way to bless somebody else and get ready for your harvest.
The question is, when you're standing at a crossroad, what do you do? Real sweet, when a fork is in the road. When the world is on your shoulders. When your back is up against the wall. Come on. What do you do? You hold on and keep the faith. Tell somebody on your road, say, come on, tell somebody sitting around you, keep the faith.
Gospel 88.7 WEHA. It's more than music. It's ministry.
Mom, this cookout's whack.
Just play with your phone.
Anthony Brown songs, new version, Blessings on Blessings.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill. It's the B.O.B. bounce. And it's about to get real. Let's go. It's about to get real. Let's go. It's about to get real. Ha. It's about to get It's about to get real. All my blessed people. Report to the dance floor. All my blessed people. Report to the dance floor. All my blessed people. Report to the dance floor.
I don't know it. What you about to learn?
All my blessed people. Report to the dance floor. All my blessed people. Report to the dance floor. All my blessed people. Report to the dance floor. Step, 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 step up. Back, stand still, matter of fact. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Step up, back, stand still, matter of fact. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Turn it out to the right, Clap, clap, step up and watch God. Step back and watch God. Turn it out to the left, Clap, clap, it's a new direction with a brand new blessing. Step up, back, stand still, matter of fact. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Step up, back, stand still, matter of fact. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Turn it out to the right, Clap, clap, step up and watch God. Step back and watch God. Turn it out to the left, Clap, clap, it's a new direction with a brand new blessing. Step up.
All right. Great Gratitude Thursday, everybody. We are back. We're back. Step up. You can't. That's right. You got to get up after that. All right. So we are back. It's Lisa Thomasell and Julie Farmer. We're back on this Thursday, midday, evening, however you want to call it. Some people are just going to work. Some people are leaving work. However you want to call it. Thank you for joining in. I'm super excited today. You know, as always, I'm excited because we're just here to share some hope. We're here to give people some hope. You know, people sometimes just feel like, which way do I go? Which way do I turn? And we just want to be a beacon of light and hope to share with you. You know, and today we got another special guest. We just doing it with these guys. Like, that's right. We got a special guest here today, and like she's going to talk about, we talking about drug and alcohol awareness, and we're talking about the prevention. You know, we're focusing today on prevention in our youth. You know, recognizing that we're all human beings, right? And one of the greatest gifts that we have is emotions. So how do we help navigate our youth through their emotions? How do we help them just process through? But before we do that, because, you know, Julie's on the side looking at me like we got to talk about how we got here, okay? So she's going to bring that before we introduce our guests.
Yeah, just to do a little housekeeping, as we'll call it.
All right, housekeeping.
We are here sponsored by the Atlantic City Municipal Alliance through JCATA, the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. We are the Atlantic City Municipal Community Awareness Program, and our main goal is to bring information on drug and alcohol awareness, prevention, and education to our community, Atlantic City community, and anyone that's listening. You don't just have to be from Atlantic City to get the information and find out what we're doing. The Atlantic City Community Awareness Program was created in 2018 to host workshops, trainings, and bring information to our community. Our goal really is to just help people through their struggles, help families, help people that are dealing with alcoholism, dealing with addiction, to get them some help and some hope so that we can move them forward. I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the programs that we have, but I want to get into our program. I love having our guests, and we want to give them a big platform. And at the end of all this, we can't forget we're going to have to do a lot of Lisa Unleashed, because I'm sure she's carrying a lot of information that she is ready to share with you guys.
Yeah, we're going to unleash Lisa later.
Am I going to be here for that?
Yeah, you right there. You right here. You with us. You know, so she needs no introduction because she's about to introduce herself. You know, she's so energized and she's ready and she's excited about the work that she does with the youth in the community. So, you know, I'm super, super duper excited. I've talked to her on a number of occasions and said, you know, we want to bring you in. Like, wow. And she's brought me in and helped me to do, and I've done some things with some of the youth that she served, and I've even had my grandchildren come in and partake in some services that she offered. Yeah. So I couldn't I couldn't overlook her. She's done some really phenomenal things, and like that. You know, my little 4-year-old granddaughter was running around thinking she was the boss of everything. She was the boss, and that's
that
right.
Was okay. That was okay.
Yes. So you know, we have Miss. I don't want to mess up her name because I get in trouble every single time. So I'm gonna keep it at Miss Spence, Mrs. Spence.
Okay, all right, and
that's right.
Very simple.
That's right. That's right.
Sante. That's right.
That's right.
It's without the H.
Okay.
Sante. All it is, and I promise you, we go through this almost every time, but it's okay.
It's all right.
As long as you love me.
I do. Much love.
That's all that matters.
That's right. So, could you please tell us, you know, bring some awareness, because I know we was talking about trauma, and we was talking about how do we get to our youth and help them navigate through their emotions, you know, because that's just the reality. We all have emotions. There's always something that we're going through, and a lot of times kids can be overseen, looked at like, okay, because grandma passed away, you know, I may be impacted, but you know, we kind of take light to the fact that the child is impacted as well. Even when there are shootings and different things that's going on in Atlantic City and surrounding areas, how are our youth impacted? So, and I know you work directly with youth, and so, you know, this is your platform.
Well, I mean, I think you've said pretty much a lot of what I was going to tap on in a nutshell.
Okay.
But I think
Crack
that,
the nut open.
That's all right. You cracked that right on open. But I think, and I know we say it all the time, but I think that the world has evolved so fast.
Yes.
You know, society has changed so fast. Whereas there's always been violence, you know. We know that it's always occurred, but now it's right at the tip of the finger. I feel like a lot of the violence today, the access to social media, video games, it kind of really takes away. It's a sense of desensitization where children, that connection is not there. So when you talk about emotions, how do we get them to tap into it? We have so many layers now that we have to get to. It's not just as simple as, tell me what's wrong, you know? It's really being able to tap into other cues, you know, such as, just tap into other cues, and also being, taking a look at the world and what's going on,
Right.
and understand that what we think is wrong with them may not be actually it, you know, not thinking that we have all the answers.
Okay.
And I know, just to go back a little bit, I know you did kind of touch on me working with the youth. Let me just go back just a little bit.
Go ahead. That's right.
Working with youth. I've been doing this work for a very long time. Started out with in-home therapy and then transitioned into this position, partnering with DCPMP, being the guide and force in cases that have domestic violence. And then as far as my group, my baby, She Inspire, I'm the co-founder. My co-founder is not here. This was, it's okay, I made it. I was going to get on you about the notice, but it's all good. I'm glad that I was able to make it. But She Inspire, this is it's going on 7 years now that we've been active in the community.
Wow.
And I can even say from that experience, the change in our ability to even really fully connect the way we did when we first began about 7 years ago has changed completely. So when we talk about tapping into emotions, it's really about meeting these kids where they are and being patient and not assuming we have all the answers.
So what are some of the differences that you noticed from like 7 years ago when you said when you first initiated? Well, let me go to there. What inspired you?
I like that.
Yeah, what inspired you and your co-founder to start this program?
Well, it actually started, it's a beautiful story. I mean, and I tell you no lie, it started out me just having a bunch of kids in my neighborhood, just sitting around not doing anything, having conversations, you know, bridging them in. And my co-founder, her and I were not in contact as much, and I believe we met, I wish she was here. I believe we reconnected, and she was in the process of the same thing. So I said, well, wait a minute. So we started doing things in the home. And next thing you know, it was too crowded. So that's when we went over to Miss Debbie Washington, who runs the rec center. And she welcomed us with open arms, and that's how we began. We were actually working separately on the same thing and connected just by running into each other. And that's how this Passion Baby was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So one person can make a difference.
One person, two people, absolutely. We plant seeds along the way. That's what it's about. That's what about.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. And so over the 7 years, you said you've seen some serious changes. What are some of the changes that you can talk about that you've observed?
Well, I can honestly say in the very beginning, the fixation wasn't so much on mentoring. You know, people were more excited to join. The youth were more excited. They were like, I want to join this girls club. I want to be. And then we see how social media has taken off so much in that span of time. It really is amazing, because when we think about it in the scope, it just really kind of just took control. And it plays so much into peer pressure and what it may look like if I'm going to a girls' club. You know, it's not cool anymore. So it started out being this cool thing, to now we're kind of like, I will never say we're dwindling away, but the challenge, our open houses have definitely changed from back then to now. And it's not even just, it's not the kids, it's also the parents. It's also the parents. I think that also we got to, accountability is everything for me. And I feel like a lot of times parents, if they have that iPad in front of them or they have that computer in front of them, that's okay. You know, at least they're, you know, they're busy. They're busy. So that whole active and getting out and doing things is just not as much of a priority as it once was. But we're still fighting for it.
Okay.
We are. Yep.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So what about, like, how has your curriculum changed?
Well, I think that she has always had a history of working with what we got, and we're swift on our feet. It really depends on the girls that we get. And the thing that I love about She Inspires is that we've been blessed to where we have, we're based in Pleasantville, but we actually get youth from all over. And I think that's the beauty. Mays Landon, EHT. We had Egg Harbor City before, where they actually came down, and you have all these beautiful young girls from all these different backgrounds, and they were able to gel together, you know, and kind of build off of each other's, you know, haves and have-nots, sort of say. So that was always beautiful.
Okay, okay. You have any questions?
Yes, of course I do. Okay, so She Inspires is located in Pleasantville, New Jersey. Now, that even brings me to segue of the Atlantic City Municipal Alliance. There is a Pleasantville Municipal Alliance.
Yes.
Have you had any partnerships or
Absolutely.
assistance from them? How do they work with you?
Well, we have for the Pleasantville Municipal Alliance, we actually left for a while.
Okay.
And it's funny that I'm here because Miss Charlene, yes, we both attended, help me, it was, oh my goodness, the Atlantic City Resource Fair.
Right, the family affair.
Yep,
Yeah.
and we were both there, and I haven't seen Miss. And also, let me just back up a minute. She Inspired. We actually had to take.
You
a
had a
break for
table there,
year.
right? Because
Yes.
I came over and I saw Judy.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Judy, yes, she was
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Yes. So we so when we were there, we reconnected, and I was telling her that listen, we're ready to get back in. We're here, having our meetings and everything. We're back, and she got on me. Where you been? I'm like, well, mental health is real, and I feel like for She Inspires, it's been the two of us as the engine and the backbone of the organization. And what happens, you get drained. We wanted to kind of rebuild and rebrand. So we have worked with them, and they've been very instrumental in as far as funding for some of the things that we've done. They've just the support. For me, it's not even just the finances, and I know if she was here, she might tap me because, a lot of the stuff, I'll be honest, we fund ourselves. We do. We're passion-driven. If we need it done, we get it done.
Right.
But what I love about organizations such as that, like the Municipal Alliance, at least we come to the table with other partners, and we're able to share information. We're able to build off each other and guest speakers, things like that we can do. We often bounce off each other. So that
that's a
was
good thing.
the most, to me, as far as the value and what that offered, that would be what it was, the partnership.
So are you coming in as one of their programs for the next fiscal years? Okay, good.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
okay,
yep,
good. That's
yeah.
very good. Because I know Lisa mentioned She Inspires, I think, from the beginning.
Yes.
When she became the chairman on our program.
Okay,
She was
okay.
mentioning She Inspires. And I'm like, it's nothing we can do because
Yeah.
we're Atlantic City,
Yeah.
and they're out of our district.
Absolutely.
But one of the things, even with this radio station, the beauty of it is that we can go on the radio outside of our zone.
Okay.
You
Right,
know,
right,
I
right.
spoke with actually Charlene that day of the event and asked her if she would be willing to come on because I think she just started a whole new nonprofit.
Yes,
Yes.
she did.
That,
Yes,
that
she did.
is
Yep.
very instrumental, and I think she'd already gone over to Turning Point Day Center for the Homeless,
She
and she
did,
spoke with
okay.
Betty Lewis, and
Okay.
she's already ready to
She's
go.
on it. Actually, the last meeting that we
yeah.
attended, our coming back meeting, sort of say, she was there, and we were clapping her up for her achievement because that's wonderful.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
going to do good
Oh,
work.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
She's definitely going to do
definitely.
good work.
Yeah,
It's
she's
needed.
passionate.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
She's passionate about it, which is a good thing.
And I think that's the driving force. If we can all be driven by our passion, you know what I mean, and work, it just makes it all.
And it's
wow.
a partnership. You can't do it alone. Everybody has a special piece that they bring to the table. With me and Lisa, when we came on the radio, Deacon Hawks came and asked, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I know somebody who can come in here and make this thing happen and make a real show, a relevant show.
Absolutely.
So, and that's why we're here, and I'm so glad that she brought you in.
Oh, I'm glad that I'm able to be here. I'm glad.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, I've definitely been talking about She Inspires, and I've talked about you, and I've seen the work that you continue to do, and even your son.
Oh,
you know,
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, don't make me cry.
I know the passion, the passion that he has, and working with the kids and stuff, and using arts. I know that was one of the things that I've heard before.
Yeah.
You know, using the arts as a way of making a connection, a direct connection with the youth.
Because it's real. Music is life. Dance is life. You know, we think about, we can go back before we even, what do? We sang, we dance. You know what I mean? It feels good. It makes you feel good.
That's right.
And the connection to dance and therapy, there's no stopping you, you know. And speaking of my son, that's what he's actually going to school for. He's going to school for psychology, and he'll minor in dance. So he'll be bridging,
that gap.
Into therapy. Yeah, that's needed. Thank you.
That's right.
One more thing. He will be actually starting a dance program as well. I'm excited about that. This is new.
Yay.
Yeah, at the rec center, because we
Okay.
need it. We need it. So so that's coming soon.
Nice. I know. I just went to Charmaine Gunter-Gary did a Black History Month program. What was it? Tuesday.
I was there.
Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was actually filming it for her. I was
okay.
operating the camera for her, and she was up in the balcony because she had just had surgery on her
I couldn't
eyes.
believe she came.
Well,
I had just
you
asked
couldn't stop her.
Sarah. That's what.
That wasn't going to stop her.
I'm just saying. Well, I'm going to send a flower. Make sure because I didn't know and.
I believe Charmaine went to tell her doctor, said, listen, this is how we're going to do
Exactly.
this.
Yeah,
and the doctor said, okay.
That's it.
But it was such a beautiful program. I mean, the kids, the talent.
Yeah.
You know, I remember as a kid, I was so shy and so afraid to do anything. But the moment you get in front of that mic, it's like, yes.
That's it.
And now these babies, they run for it.
They do.
They run for it. You know, I want a part. I want to do something.
Yeah.
You know, how do you recruit your kids and She Inspires?
Honestly, we rely on opportunities like this.
Okay.
Just being in a community. I've been at the grocery store and seen, hey, around here, you know, it's all about, when I say planting seeds, that's what I live by. You know, you just never know. Again, being based at the rec center, of course, you know, we do get some advertisement there. Like, we're literally there, and they'll walk young girls over. Hey, this is the group. Come on in here.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
okay.
So we've been pretty good. I would love to see more Girls from Pleasantville a part of the organization, because I do feel like that's been a struggle, but I believe it'll get better.
Do you reach out to the schools?
Yeah, we
Okay.
do. Now it's a bit different. We have to go through a whole process and have to
background
go
check
through,
and-
well, even getting approved through the boards, and
Okay.
a lot of that has changed now, where initially it wasn't. And
Okay.
in the beginning, let me take that back, we did do that, and it was a much simpler process. But we're ready. We're going to do whatever we need to do, because we know our youth need us. You know, they need us.
And how many kids do you have now?
15. We're at 15 right now. Yep. I'm trying to do my count off. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And who are some of your facilitators, like your speakers? How do you get them in?
Oh, well, Miss Lisa, would you like to comment on
There you
that?
go.
Well,
She just asked me.
well, you have before.
Yes,
I think
I have.
I can answer the question,
Yes,
and
you
you can
can.
build on it. A lot of what we do is, like I said, myself and my co-founder, Couture, we bounce off of each other, but we pride ourselves in bringing others in.
Okay.
So exposure is everything, and the girls get tired of us talking all the time. You know, we do have our girl talk sessions. We do have, things like that, but we get down to the nitty-gritty. We don't want to just talk about it. We also want to expose them to other professionals, or just even someone that wants to come in that's in the community and roundtable talk, you know. So yeah, you've been there, right?
Yes, yeah, and it's been a wonderful experience, like to be able to do a drug and alcohol session, and we've talked about doing like breath work with the kids. So it's been I've seen it just really grow, and like I said, I brought I entrust her to have my grandchildren.
Yeah.
So
Zori.
Zori and Destiny and stuff like that. I brought them to to the program, and
Oh, the
they
Christmas
greatly.
tea.
Oh
The
yes.
tea,
Oh,
yeah.
and she had a little dress on and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so
Man.
cute. It was so cute. Just their feedback and coming back with the smiles on their face and feeling not feeling left out. You know, starting out feeling a little shy
Yep.
because it's the first time, but then you know stepping into the I see my granddaughter step into the front of the line.
Yes, yes.
With she was in the back in the beginning and it started and went to the front. I'm like, okay, look at her.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
so
what it's about.
yeah, that's
Building
right.
them up. And a lot of times, like I said, people don't realize how children, youth, they bounce off each other. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So when they come in, and we've had many that are just, the parents will tell us, oh, that she's not going to talk. She's not going to do this. Da, da, da. And then next thing you know, you come back, oh, she's singing. She's singing, or she's dancing, or she has a group of friends. And it's important, you know, never talk about what your child can't do. Just bring them out and see and watch them work.
Now, when
Watch
do
them
you
work.
meet?
On Saturdays.
Oh, wow.
We
Okay.
actually, we meet on Saturdays. We are actually, at this point, we're working on, for the Pleasantville Rec Center, I don't want to call it like a rebranding, but an open house. Let's call it that, an open house, where we're going to actually highlight all of the programs, which will be included.
So like a showcase.
You got it. Yes, showcase. Yes, yes.
What other
And then-
programs do you have out there? Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. What other programs?
For She Inspire?
No, in Pleasantville.
Oh, at the
in
rec
general.
center?
Yeah.
Honestly, right now, it's mainly focused on sports, which is
Okay.
a great thing. It's not a bad thing at all, but we gotta also meet our kids where they are. You know, to have those conversations, you know, on bullying, have those conversations on toxic masculinity, you know, gender roles and expectations and depression. It's real. You know, these kids are going through a lot. So that's what we're in talks of really. Okay.
Yeah. Toxic
that's all right.
I was like, what is this? Okay.
So what that is when we talk about that's one of the simplest forms, or there's many, but or a little boy, you just go to sports. But you may have this football player or this track star that also loves to dance.
Right.
So exposing them to all these different elements, that creates, you know, character. It creates you being truly comfortable in your skin. And you are.
And even most professional athletes do dance,
Yeah.
ballet and stuff. So you know to improve their skills.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
you're absolutely right. It is. You know, it's not just okay. And I love that toxic masculinity because it's just taking and looking at some of the barriers that keep people trapped.
Yeah. That's
You
what
know,
it's about.
and keep them isolated and making them thinking that something's wrong with them just for feeling like it's so simple for, you know, a child, a boy to cry, and then the first thing as women can respond or men can respond, oh, you know, suck it up, man up.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
like it's a bad thing.
It's a bad, and the same thing for young girls.
Right.
How many times have you heard, "Oh, act like a lady"? What is that? You know, that may be a completely different definition for me versus someone else. You know, so it's the same thing. You know, we're teaching our young girls. You know, okay, so what is a woman? What makes a woman? And they'll, you know, some will say, you know, oh, quiet, or cleans the house, or, you know, so we break into those, we call it gender boxes. You know, it's a whole exercise that we do where we look at what society expects us to be versus who I really want to be, you know. So it's a great exercise. We do it often. We do it often. And that's not solely with She Inspire, but that's also with my home agency, Avanzar, which used to be the Women's Center.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about Avanzar.
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 Spanish.
Yes, yes, indeed.
I have a lot of people from the church.
Okay.
Do you know Lourdes Shabazz?
Love Lordy.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. She's
Okay. Yeah.
my little sister.
Oh, yes,
I
that's
love her.
Lordy. Yes, indeed. Yes, heart of gold.
Yes.
So Avanzar moving forward in Espanol. Just us moving forward to diversity, inclusion, just setting the tone from the inside out. So that's when I make reference to the gender boxes and things of that matter. That's what we're really pushing forward, you know, that cause. But Avanzar, you want to know more of what we offer? So to say? Okay. Okay. So we are the only, for this county, Domestic violence, which is where I fall under as the domestic violence liaison coordinator. We have sexual assault advocacy, sexual assault counseling, human trafficking. Lordy's organization, her department, where we do self-sufficiency, where we're helping or assisting a lot of our survivors get on their feet after being,
Trafficked.
well, not necessarily trafficked, but they do fall under that umbrella. But if you're in a relationship of power and control, we have women that's never had a job. We have women that may have been given a $20 allowance to last them for 2 weeks, or more. So they really have no idea as to who their identity is. And that's what that program specializes in, just getting them off their feet.
Okay.
Yeah, and getting them out there.
And do y'all have any kind of programs for men?
We do. And well, I probably can't. Well, we're working on more. I'll leave it there.
Okay.
However, right now we have our Fathers Ending Abuse program.
Yeah, they actually meet at Second Baptist Church. Yes, that's where I work.
Okay.
On the
so
administrative assistant. So they meet. They're great guys.
Yeah.
Really great bunch of guys that come through.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do definitely do something with that.
So, okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. Ann?
No, I was going to just expand that it's a 26 session program that is rooted in changing those battering behaviors. That's it.
Okay.
I have a question, and I want to kind of rewind and go backwards. We know your name, but what is your background?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you want to ask me specific questions now?
Yes, of
Okay,
course.
that's fine. Well, again, my name is Sante. Nice to meet you, too. My background is psychology.
Okay.
So I do have a master's, and I'm in clinical counseling, specialization with infants and adolescents as well. So I've been doing in-home therapy. Actually, I did that for, 7 years. And then I transitioned over, actually doing my master's program. Trying to get the whole dating. I'm not that old. I'm not that old, I promise. But that's when I was working my master's program, and then fell into this position that I've always had a passion for.
Okay.
Prior to doing in-home therapy, I actually worked for the Women's Center years ago. Left them to go to Robin's Nest, and then came back home. Isn't that something?
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so that's a little bit about my background. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's just a little touch.
Yeah.
So since we're right here, we're going to go to a brief commercial break, and we'll be back.
Okay.
Hawks Janitorial, in business since 1987. We are looking for a reliable cleaning staff for full and part-time positions. Experience preferred but not necessary. If interested, 609-484-0452 or stop by the office for an application at 3 Canale Drive, Egg Harbor Township, 08234. Once again, we are looking for reliable cleaning staff for full and part-time positions. Experience preferred but not necessary. If interested, 609-484-0452 or stop by the office for an application at 3 Canale Drive, Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, 08234. Hawks Janitorial, in business since 1987. We are looking for a reliable cleaning staff for full and part-time positions.
Hawks Janitorial Contractors Corp. was established in 1987 by husband and wife team William and Elaine Hawks. Our motto is a great job at a fair price. The Hawks team is skillful, customer-focused, delivering quality janitorial services that meet and exceed our clients' specific needs. Hawks Janitorial Contractors Corp., proud sponsors of Gospel 88.7 FM. For more information, 609-484-0452.
The weather outside is frightful.
But the gospel is so delightful. Yes.
Check out our new website at www.wehavegospel.com.
A name that has been trusted for almost 30 years in the janitorial services industry is proud to present Hawks Professional Moving Services. Fully insured, local and long distance, packing services, commercial and residential. No job too small or too large. Friendly and reliable services. For more information or a free estimate, 609-484-0452. Hawks Professional Moving Services, where we treat your belongings like our own.
This song is for those that
blowing my way. The wind of God is blowing my way. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's blowing in my direction. There's something about the wind of God that changes, and it's blowing my way, blowing my way. Oceans are lifted and mountains destroyed when the wind of God.
I did it all for the first time. Made a mistake, but I earned mine. I broke it on a one time. Well, I did it on my way. Fixed it on the front line. I'm over the pain. If I'm dancing when I wanna, please don't judge me. If I'm smiling when I'm under, please don't judge me. I just ran through the fire. Please don't judge me. Please don't judge me. I just walk in the wire. Please don't judge me. Please don't judge me. I don't know if you have noticed. I'm doing me and I love it. I just ran through the fire. Please don't judge me. Please don't judge me. If you don't give me no help, now I do it all by myself. Now I just ran through the fire. Please don't judge me. Please don't judge me. Help me sing now. Help me sing now. Please don't judge me. Please don't judge me.
Shout out to the Clark sisters.
Say I'm walking right into the warning signs. Dodging your words for the finish line. I'm living for the one time. No, I'm not gonna be afraid. I'll fix it on the front line. I'm not what you say. If I'm dancing when I wanna, please don't judge me. If I'm smiling when I'm under, please don't judge me. I just ran through the fire. Please don't judge me. Please don't judge me. I just walk in the wire. Please don't judge me. Please don't judge me. I don't know if you have noticed.
All right, please don't judge us. Yes, we are back on WEHA 88.7, 100.3 FM. This is a Christ-centered, community-focused listener supported. We have gospel of Atlantic City. And we want to thank our guests for coming on. Sante, Spence, I was going to mess her name up, and Julie Farmer. Like, I truly just, I thank you. I thank you for coming. I thank you for that burning desire in your heart that just inspired you to take another step. You know, and even though you said y'all was you did this together with someone else, but it just took two people to come together and say, we see a need, and we're going to just start right where we're at. Absolutely. So you just started in the house. In the house, like didn't need a building, you know. So I'm saying this, because like sometimes we have a dream or we have a vision of wanting something, and all these barriers come about because, well, I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough resources, or I don't have enough nothing, you know. But when you see the desire, you just said, you know what, we're going to fill it, and even if it's in the living room.
Absolutely.
That's right. So it just started like
sitting
on the floor with a couple of kids in the neighborhood that wasn't doing anything but willing to show up at your door to hear something that would inspire and support them. Do you still stay in contact with those kids? Like it's been 7 years now.
And you know, and it's funny. I was at the casino. I was there. We went there for a show, and she came running up to me, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're working? You're a dealer? How is this possible?"
A car dealer?
She's a dealer.
Okay,
in
the casino.
In the casino.
And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, "Am I old now?" Yeah, card. Yes, blackjack.
Blackjack.
Yeah, but I'm just looking like, oh my goodness. but it feels good, you know. And I know we've had yeah, it's been a lot, you know. But the fact that they still remember, you know, and we do too. And I think that we talk about how, you know, how you gave it was beautiful. I appreciate it as far as being inspired and things, but those kids inspire us so much, and they teach us so much about ourselves as well. And I think that's such a beauty to watch unfold. So that's what we're grateful for, just to be a part of their journey.
Fabulous, fabulous.
Yeah.
So we got to do our house cleaning.
Okay.
Before we go into the next level, just want to tell you again who we are, why we're here, and what we're about. We are the Atlantic City Municipal Alliance through Jakarta Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. We are the Atlantic City Municipal Community Awareness Program here on the radio station. We do appreciate you coming in. We appreciate all of the programs. The beauty of the Alliance is we're not just in Atlantic City, we're also in Pleasantville. And it was so nice to know that you reconnected with Ms. Geraldine to be a part of the Pleasantville Municipal Alliance. We have our programs in Atlantic City, and I just want to cover them really, really quickly. We have the Atlantic County Rites of Passage with Charmaine Gunter-Gary. She was here last week on the radio station. And you can always follow up with us in these these segments on We Have Gospel on their Facebook page. We have Lead Law Enforcement Against Drugs and Alcohol. That's with Monica Corsi, Sergeant Monica Corsi, and Chaplain Eric McCoy. And we have In My Care Mentoring Program and Brother to Brother, and that's through Shalonda Austin. I'm sure you're familiar with her. She does a lot of great things in the community, too. And, of course, we're community awareness. I have a question again for Lisa, because Lisa has been here, is this our 4th week? All right. And I always, again, want to hear about your background and why it's so important for you to do this.
You know, I get this question asked, and it can change sometimes, you know, week to week, according to like really what's pressed on my heart at the time. Because, you know, I've had a few birthdays, so my story is just not like a one size fit all. You know, it's changed. Things have changed, but the one thing that's always maintained the same is how I navigated through my emotions. You know, and so my passion for what I do, whether it's substance abuse awareness, whether it's trauma focused, whether it's, you know, just helping people to learn how to rewire their thinking and their brain. It was all driven because of my own experience. I remember being a kid, you know, and I remember being a teenager, and I remember having services, you know, like being in therapy myself as a young kid, as a young girl being introduced to therapy, and sometimes not liking it. It's like it uncovered some very uncomfortable things that I felt like I don't want to talk about this. I come in here, I'm happy, and now you want me to talk about some stuff, and now I'm not happy. You know, but to now be an adult and recognize that all of those emotions is relevant. All of those emotions help you to build your character. All of those things is what makes us human. So most of the time we're trying to run and escape from the inevitable, and that's being human. No matter what it is that we do or whatever we proclaim, we're all human, and we're all experiencing emotions that can sometimes take us either left or right. You know, I remember I remember feeling suicidal. I remember being suicidal to a point where I was doing it. You know, because I was so hurt. There was something inside of me that felt so stifled, that felt like I didn't have a voice and couldn't be heard. I heard a young lady say to me the other day, they say kids are to be heard, not seen. I said, yeah, that was old school stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and then the reality of it is the result of that is that people don't know how to be heard or seen. And then we're all stifled. And some of the things that we're trying to unleash in therapy is helping people gain a voice. So you got people of all ages trying to establish a voice. And we all have the right to be heard. We all have the right to share what's inevitably within us. And to feel that and experience that. So I love programs like yours. I love programs like Charmaine's. I love Shalonda's. I love programs that, like, regardless of what people may think or say, people that just go out there and say, I'm willing to do something.
And I think that's key.
That's key. I'm willing to do something. You may not be, like, I'm not no administrative assistant type of chick. Don't ask me to file nothing, do no technological stuff. I'm not that girl. But I know somebody. I know somebody who will. But you ask me, like, and Julie the same. She's like, if somebody say, Julie, we need you to come speak and do something, she's like, you don't need me to speak nowhere.
Type a letter for you.
She will,
I'll get behind the camera all day long.
All day. But so you may be talented in some areas. Our kids are talented in some areas. And like sometimes we denounce that or act like it doesn't exist because they're just kids and wait till you become an adult like bills made you better. Like having to pay Sprint makes you an adult because you paying Atlantic Electric. You know, there's celebrities. There's celebrities that's doing YouTube and all kind of stuff, and they're making the money. But are they making the money or the money making them?
Well, that's because I think that's what we need a whole another hour to talk about that, because I feel like that's where a lot of our babies get lost. They get lost in projection and not reality. And that also goes into how they're not able to truly tap into their feelings because they're so caught up on showing face, but not truly who they see in the mirror. And that's a whole, like I said, we can go on. I know the time is ticking, but I think that that's so important. It's devastating to our youth, to be honest. I mean, it's heartbreaking to see it. When we ask youth today, what do you want to be? You know, and I can even go back to the question you asked 7 years ago versus now. A YouTube star. But what happens when that money stops rolling in? What happens if, when
a new thing comes?
Then what are you going to do? Hone in on your gifts. Hone in on, the things that make you, and stop being caught up on YouTube.
It's interesting you say the YouTube thing. I've seen some things come off of YouTube that I'm like, really, that's what, like, little girls with barely nothing on and dancing crazy. I'm like, why is that a thing? Why, is that allowed? Why isn't it shut down? Right. And who's behind the camera? Who's behind the camera? So
Following the masses. It's unfortunate. Our kids are so impressionable, and we have to be so careful. And we were so careful. And then again, when this whole explosion happened, it was like, whoa. I think I was talking earlier about navigating social media. I sat with some. She was, well, you do this. I think it was Snapchat. And she went through. I said, what? Wait a minute. So it's just trying. It's tough. It really is. And I think what you said, Lisa, just do something. And, I know people that get discouraged, because I even know for us in our history, we've had seasons where we had 35 plus girls, and then we had some, we only had 5, but you just keep rocking and rolling with it. You keep on, That's what it's about.
That's right.
Yeah.
And and we can talk about the youth, but the adults is just as much. Sometimes like it's kind of challenging to teach a child how to navigate through their feelings if you haven't navigated through your own. That's right. And you're not working through your own. I know for myself, like I went to parenting classes. I'll expose it all. I went to parenting classes at some point, because I knew I knew how to holler. I knew how to holler and I knew how to intimidate, and I was raised in making people fear you. So I knew how to do that. But what I also knew how to be the receiver on the other end. I knew how that felt. And I didn't want to do the same thing to my children. So I said, listen, I wasn't so much as saying, well, I'm the mother. I know. We always say, well, kids don't come with instructions. But then somebody offer you another way, another possible way, then it's like, no, I'm not doing that. You know, so I did those things. I went to parenting classes. I remember Pleasantville used to have parenting classes over there when my kids was younger and stuff. And I did those things because I wanted to do something different. For me, beating wasn't the answer. I've had enough beatings that I knew. People that say, oh, well, it's nothing wrong. Nah, okay, well, if that's your belief, that's your belief. And I'm not here to dispute that. But I knew for me, it did nothing. It did nothing but, like, I went in an inner shell and feeling like, even though you said it was love, then I felt like, well, if you love me like that, that hurts. And then that can trickle down to wondering why people in abusive relationships. Because the cycle continues. So if you tell me you love me and I'm getting beat, and he tells me he loves me and I'm getting beat,
This must be normal.
This is normal.
This must be normal.
This must be, as the old song said, this must be love.
Can I have a question? So if someone wanted to bring their child, their daughter to your program, how would they reach out to you?
Oh, just the Pleasantville Rec Center,
Okay.
or I actually have we have a Facebook page.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
hip, y'all.
Okay.
Facebook. We do get
got Instagram?
We do have Instagram as well. We do. I always go for Facebook because I navigate that one better. But we do
Yes.
get a lot. But it's connected. So
Okay.
whether it be Instagram or Facebook, it's just She Inspires.
She Inspires,
So that's
okay.
and that is actually how we get a
Instagram,
lot of
too?
our girls. Yeah. Our girl does the techies. She bridged them together. So.
Right.
So you need to
I
let.
wanna learn.
Listen,
I wanna
you
learn.
need to choose some of the girls to let them navigate your pages for you.
indeed.
You know, and
Yeah.
that would be creative for them also.
Yeah.
If you just say, you know what, I'm going to plug you in, and this is what I want you to do.
Well, that's how we do. That's how I survive.
Okay.
Yeah, because I couldn't, no. Like one of our volunteers, one of our main, mentors, one of our lead mentors, she's younger than us.
Okay,
So
okay.
she grabs them in and helps them navigate the page because I'm hard. Yeah. Ooh, no. Yeah. That's why you notice I said Facebook. Facebook is easy, I think. But that is how
that
we
other
get,
thing.
Oh, but that is how a lot of parents do. They contact and send us messages. Hey, where you at, or where can we drop off? So that's been a savior.
Very good.
So I guess I'm a little hip. Am I
A
hip?
little bit.
You think so? Okay.
Enough.
A little bit. All
You're
right.
enough.
Let me
You're
get
enough.
Instagram.
You're
All
enough.
right. All right.
You're not ancient. You know Facebook.
I do.
MySpace is a long time ago.
I see. I didn't even do MySpace.
Yeah. So once again, I just want to thank the audience. I want to give a shout out to JB, James Brown, who's one of the listeners who have reached out to us and just let us know that he's listening, and he's been listening in and trying to call in and stuff. So I want to give out the shout out to him. I want to give out the shout out, if I forgot anybody else, please don't assassinate me about it, but might not have been the right word. However, thank you, for just tuning in. Thank you all for, stopping in and just getting the message of hope, because that's what we want to bring to the radio station each Thursday at 5:00. We want to bring a message of hope. We want to just open your eyes to other possibilities. We might not have all the answers, but we're going to bring an answer. And if you just open up your mind to the endless possibilities, God is great all the time. And all the time, God is great. And so, if sometimes we close ourselves off from the greater possibilities that is there right in front of us, blocking off the blessings because we said, oh, this is how it should be. But should is what? Should is not opening up our hearts to allowing the love to just flow through us to be able to help our children. And I love what you said, being hip and stuff. That's right. It's about being aware. Being knowledgeable, because a lot of the technology, we have so much information, so I always say this, we're on information overload. We have so much information. There's a lot of information. People can Google the effects of marijuana on the brain. People can Google, before you had to go to a specialist or a professional to get the answers that you was looking for, or you had to go to the library, go through them indexes, look up those numbers. I'm dating myself.
Yeah,
I know.
that's before my time.
Yeah, okay. So, we had to do some extensive search to find something. Now it's at your fingertip. Now we're walking around with Samsungs and iPhones at information on the tip of our fingers. But has it changed us so much that we're living in accordance to the information that we were receiving? Mm-hmm. We're still trying to catch up. Mm-hmm. We're still trying to figure out, who am I? We still have that burning desire, that burning question. What is my purpose in this living? We're still trying. Not am I trying to show an image of making people think that I'm okay, but am I really okay at the core of who I am? Right. You know, we can sit here and we can talk about like how good God is and how much we love God and what Jesus can do for you. But then when you go home at night, when those lights is off and nobody's watching, how are you really feeling? Yeah. What's coming up in you? Like, we all have this natural thing. There's things that's going to come up. Even as mentors or people that go out and help people in the community. We've talked about this on the radio station before. Taking care of ourselves. Yes. Making sure that the love that we trying to pass on to others, that we first got to pass it on to ourselves. And love on us ourselves. Like teaching these young men and women, because just as well as men and boys can be abusive, so can women. So can females. Absolutely. So teaching them the power of love and the power of communication and the power of support and the power of like not judging. Like at some point, listen, I know I've judged. I know that any given second I can keep judging. If I'm not mindful as to recognizing that we're all mirrors of one another. Yeah. Sometimes the thing that I'm judging in one is because that's the part of me that I'm not very happy with myself.
But we also got to acknowledge, too, that part of being human. We all. Exactly. That's almost like saying you don't see color.
Right.
You do see color. And I know that'd be a whole other conversation. Yeah. But when we say that we don't judge, naturally, because if we didn't, we wouldn't have choices. We wouldn't make certain decisions. But I think that the importance is when that judgy kind of drives up, is to be open to learn, open to be aware, and things that I just want to touch on that because it's normal nature, but it's about the choices that you make.
It's absolutely.
And being open.
That's right, and just take a moment, just love on somebody instead of looking at them with eyes of disgust or eyes of judgment. Just look at them with some eyes of compassion and love, and knowing that like we're all on this journey through life. We're all on this journey trying to find and discover who we are. And there's going to be some people that's going to present themselves to you as difficult. But we know how we have been difficult.
Never.
Yeah. Okay. There's always one out the crowd that's never difficult. But being able to just like embrace the difficulties that we may have and the difficulties that others may have. Just embrace it with love. When I'm channeling in on the love and remembering that it's all about just giving a little love or giving a whole lot of love and reducing my need to judge or critique something, then all is well. Because I know that, as my mother said to me years ago, the same God who has me, had her, got me. So those who might be out here today and they just feeling lost or they just looking for an answer, and hopefully this hour has offered you an answer that you are love. God loves you.
Amen.
You are worthy.
Yes.
God ain't make no junk. So I love you all. I thank you. I will see you next time, next week.
Next Thursday.
Same time, same channel.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you once again for coming on and embracing us with your She Inspires. What an appropriate name. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I love you all. See you next week.
See you next week, 5 o'clock every Thursday.
Mom, this cookou's whack.
Just play with your phone.
Anthony Brown songs.